Today we're going to peel back the layers on one of society's most enduring figures, the soldier. We're going to look past the uniform, past the salute, and try to find the complex, surprising, and, profoundly human stories that are hiding right underneath the surface.
So let me ask you a question. What does a soldier look like? Seriously, what's the first image that pops into your head? Is it some gritty hero in camouflage? Maybe a stoic figure from an old black and white war movie? Okay, hold that thought, because we're about to see just how different the reality can be.
All right, so first, let's start with that classic image, right? The one a lot of us probably have in our heads. The larger-than-life figure who just seems to embody the very idea of military command.
And honestly, who better to represent that archetype than General George S. Patton? Nicknamed Old Blood and Guts, Patton was the quintessential bold, often outspoken leader of massive armies in World War II. He is, for many, the picture of a general.
And this guy's personality. Wow. Get this, even Adolf Hitler reportedly called him that crazy cowboy general. During the all-important Battle of the Bulge, Patton desperately needed clear skies for his air support. So what does he do? He calls up a chaplain and orders him, literally, to write a prayer for fair weather for battle. And, believe it or not, when the weather cleared, he awarded that chaplain a medal right there on the spot.
Patton is a powerful symbol, no doubt about it. But is that it? Is this the only face of a soldier? Is every single person in uniform a mythic general leading the charge? No way.
Not even close.
The reality? Well, it often pops up in the most unexpected places. And that includes, believe it or not, the Hollywood spotlight.
Yep, that's Chuck Norris. But before he was, Chuck Norris, he was Carlos Ray Norris, an air policeman in the U.S. Air Force. He was stationed over in South Korea, and that's actually where he started the martial arts training that would go on to define his entire career.
And he is not alone. The list of stars who served is it's incredible. Bea Arthur, one of the Golden Girls, was a truck driver and a typist in the Marine Corps Women's Reserve during World War II. Mr. T, he was elected top trainee out of 6,000 troops in the Army's military police. Morgan Freeman served as an Air Force radar repairman, and yes, even the king himself, Elvis Presley, was drafted and served with a 3rd Armored Division over in Germany.
And speaking of Mr. T, there is this legendary story from his time in the service. After he got on a sergeant's bad side, he was given a punishment detail. Go chop down some trees. Now, the sergeant made one crucial mistake. He didn't say when to stop.
So, 3.5 hours later, a major finds Mr. T still going at it. He had single-handedly chopped down over 70 trees. The major was so stunned he just canceled the punishment right away. I guess even before he was famous, Mr. T pitied the fool who underestimated him.
So, we've seen that soldiers can come from literally anywhere. But what really defines them isn't where they're from. It's their capacity for courage in the face of just unbelievable adversity.
Okay, take a look at this man. This is Group Captain Sir Douglas Bader, a celebrated Royal Air Force flying ace from World War II. A true hero of the skies.
And just listen to his combat record. 22 confirmed aerial victories, another 4 shared, and 11 more damaged. I mean, he was one of the absolute best. But that's not what makes his story so extraordinary.
Now, here's the kicker. Every single one of those victories was achieved after a crash had cost him both of his legs. Bader, as a double amputee, fought to rejoin the RAF, got back in the cockpit, and went on to become a legend, completely shattering what anyone thought was possible for a fighter pilot.
Physical courage is one thing, and it's incredible. But what about moral courage? What happens when a soldier's duty to their own conscience clashes with their duty to follow orders?
And this question, man, it really gets to the very heart of a soldier's character. Where does true courage lie? Is it in blind obedience, or is it in the strength to know when an order is just plain wrong?
Let me introduce you to Kurt Knispel. Now, this guy was one of the most successful tank aces in history, but he was anything but a model soldier in the German army. He was a total nonconformist, known for his long hair and a goatee, and for a bad habit of disobeying orders he felt were unjust.
You see, his real commander was his conscience. In a moment that could have easily gotten him killed, Knispel physically attacked one of his own officers because he saw him mistreating Soviet prisoners of war. He chose humanity over hierarchy, right there on the spot.
This whole story reminds me of the philosopher John Stuart Mill. He wrote that someone who has nothing they're willing to fight for is a miserable creature. Knitzbel's story really shows that sometimes the most important fight isn't against the enemy in front of you, but for the principles you hold inside of you.
So what's the one thing that connects all of these different people? The general, the actor, the amputee, the rebel. What's the common thread? Well, it boils down to one really profound unifying idea. This anonymous quote, it just says it all, doesn't it? Whether they drove a truck or flew a plane or fixed a radar or commanded a tank, every single person who serves makes the same ultimate pledge. At some point, they signed a blank check on their own life. And that is the truth that unmasks the soldier, revealing not some simple stereotype, but a diverse collection of individuals all united by this singular, extraordinary commitment. So I'll ask you again, what does a soldier look like now?